1, 2, 3, let's go.
Around the world with the He and She Show. With hosts, married stand-up comedians Doug and Teresa Wyckoff. Offering travel tips, tricks, and stories with special guests sharing their tales and adventures. Now your hosts.
Hi!
Hey!
Hello!
Welcome to the He and She Show Quarantine Edition. This is our third Quarantine Edition episode.
Episode 3, Zoom this time.
Yeah.
So the first one we did just ourselves, and then we had guests from the park outside the window.
They sat outside.
And then we had a guest from Zoom.
So today we have with us Keli Budinich. Did I say your last name right?
Yeah.
I did? Oh, wow. It never happens. Even people I know forever, once I get on this and I start to say their name, I can't.
She messes up her own.
And you have your own podcast. Would you, we'll talk about your podcast in a second, but Keli and
Maybe, if she earns it. You got to earn it. It's no
I'll do my best.
promotion.
Keli and I go back.
Too far.
I've allowed you to become friends with her.
You guys are friends, what, children?
No, we were in a cult
After high
together.
school, the cult.
Yeah.
Cult people. Yes.
Cults in a cult together. We're no longer in the cult.
Really?
No.
Are we?
No.
No.
All a simulation.
We're no longer in that cult.
We're in the cult of America.
Yeah. Well, new cult.
So, Keli, yay. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Where are you exactly in the world right now?
I am in suburbia outside of Seattle. So about half hour outside of Seattle.
So you're in like Grand Central for...
Can we catch it from Zoom?
Yes. Maybe.
Thing?
I think there's just as many people that have it in LA now than Washington. I feel like.
Oh, yeah. I think you guys are close. Yeah.
It's a competition. Let's see if we can win.
Yeah.
All I can say is my hands hurt from washing them so much.
Oh my gosh. It was bad for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not out in the world. Like I don't work outside my home. So I wasn't as bad, but still all day, every day washing. Every time my kids and their little Petri dishes would come home, I would hose them down. It's been bad. But
I'm going to say on average, everyone's house is probably a lot cleaner now than it used to be.
or a shit show. I mean,
We cleaned everything in our house at least once. A good time.
Yeah, that was a bit ago. It's what you can't see out of this little zone is...
Neither of us are wearing pants.
And there's dirty clothes.
We're both
oh
naked.
yeah.
I honestly have been wearing the same pajamas for like 3 days. I just switched out.
Yeah. So I'm not doing laundry. Like I guess I'm on strike. I'm over it. So I went like 3 days, no underwear and in the same pajamas. So that's some private information for you that I know you needed.
This is a kid's show, so let's be careful.
Yeah, no.
Get those kids out of here
my
right away.
point, kick them out. My point is, like, when I went to put them on the fourth day, I showered, but when I went to put them on the fourth day, I was like, yeah, this is not okay. This is
the day.
This is not, I got to change my ways.
I gotta change. That first shower after a week really felt good.
Really, a shower would be such a big accomplishment.
We've been actually pretty much inside since the 6th or 7th of March. Yeah, because I can't get it. If I get it, I have the things that would make it so I would be in the ventilator by myself, dying a sad, horrible death. Maybe.
Yeah.
There's a good enough chance. I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah, don't risk it. So in your space, in your RV, do you like have all your shower amenities, all of that? You're fine, or you use the
It's
car?
none of your business. We're interviewing you. I'm just kidding.
I need to know.
We are a self-contained spaceship.
Yeah.
We are actually in training for Mars.
Yeah. We have a shower, and I love it. For some reason, every time he tries to use the shower we have here, it like doesn't work out for him. I don't know why, because it's amazing. First of all, he's a giant person.
Well, yeah.
So I'm not. It's like perfect size for me. Everything's very reachable. We have the shower. We have, we used to have, when we first started staying at this RV park, when we first went out, we planned on converting it to all solar. So we got out all of the propane stuff and just have like electric, and we took the toilet out and put in what are they called?
Composting toilet.
Composting toilet. So we could like be off the grid forever.
Ooh.
I know. And then we decided that's not fun and it's too expensive to drive this thing.
So we're like a modified off the grid. So actually, if we have power, it works great because a lot of the times,
I was going to talk about the toilet.
Well, a lot of the times though, people use propane and then they run out of propane. But
we're just plugged in.
We're plugged in, but we're good.
We had to switch the toilet because this is the situation. A compost toilet's great, but it's a little bit too much like a indoor outhouse for me. Like I didn't feel.
Yeah.
It's a bucket.
And if we were out in the woods, that would seem fun. But I just
Sure.
felt like I lived in an RV park with an outhouse, and so I finally
in the house.
Convinced him to go to the RV store and buy a proper toilet again. It was like a $1,200 compost toilet, though. Those were cheap. We've tried selling it on OfferUp, but people don't want to use toilet.
Why? Why would they not want that?
We're like, we'll keep the compost in it.
And keep it in case we have to go back.
So, Kelly, tell us about your podcast a little bit. It's brand new, right?
Yeah, brand new. It is called Everything's Not Fine. So that
perfect for right now.
Tells you everything you need to know. I know. And literally, like, we launched, and a couple of days later, our kids went on like no school. All of this stuff exploded. So it might be our fault. I'm not sure. But
thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, our declaration. Everybody's trying to take credit, but it could have been us. No, so it's basically a good friend of mine. We've been friends, met in the cult, like 25 years ago, but went probably 15 years with just social media relationship. Like, she's like a sister to me, but life happened. We drifted apart. So I got this idea for a podcast. I was a mom blogger back when it was cool to be a mom blogger, and stopped, but I needed some kind of an outlet for my sanity. So I got the idea of the podcast and started looking for a co-host to kind of share it with. And she just came to mind, partially because she lives in the middle of Washington in like population 9,000. And we just have very different worlds, but we live the same life. We're moms, I have teenagers, she has littler ones, but we have kind of the same life, but in very different worlds. So we just thought it would be fun to talk about, all the ways that everything's not fine in our world. And
there are so many to choose from now.
Yeah. So, I mean, the original idea was, we go around putting on our happy face on our social media and pretending like everything's perfect and shit's falling apart behind closed doors. And to just talk about that and real life. I'm obviously pretty raw and real. I told you about my underwear situation. So, I'm an all out there person. So I thought, let's share this, like disarm the bullshit that's the American housewife and perfect little family. And now it's obviously taken a new turn to talk about, how our world is right now. So, I mean, that'll be part of it, but it's not the focus for long term, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the long answer to a easy question.
Cool, because it is that way with Instagram. It's like everyone puts their best moments there because that's the ones that you take pictures of and you want to put out there. And then other people feel bad or feel like my life isn't as good as theirs, and their life probably sucks shit. But that's not the pictures you're putting up there. I mean, very rarely have I put a picture of myself like, can't pay my bills this month.
Right, exactly.
Yay! Hashtag adulting.
My kid's in rehab. So
everything I post is true. Everything it's
it's not that it's not true. It's that
everything is perfect for me. So I don't know what's going on with you guys.
Yeah.
People pick they might be true moments. It's just the best of the true moments.
Right.
And sometimes it's not true moments. Like I've worked a lot with some influencers, and there's not always a lot of truth behind their photos. I mean, it's a photo shoot. It's professional.
I think she's talking about me right now again.
Probably.
Yeah, influencers.
I'm an influencer. Well, right?
Yes.
If you've seen the gram,
I've seen the photos. Oh yeah.
If you've seen the gram, you know that I'm a influencer. That's how we talk.
He influences
words.
something. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He really. That's what we need more of, is the viewpoint of middle-aged white men. We don't have enough.
Yeah.
Out there. Not nearly. So how's your life different than it was a few months ago? Was it a shock to you? Did you expect this to be here?
Did you expect this?
Yeah. Oh, I've been waiting for this for years.
Why didn't you tell us? That's a great question, Geraldo.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's different. I would say, just on a practical level, obviously I am a stay-at-home, work from home woman. So, and I have teenagers, which have their whole life. I mean, they go do their thing for the most part. So I'm usually alone, like a lot. I'm home alone a lot, which is why I had time to even think about this podcast.
So your world has really changed a lot. I mean, it's from like, I got a good 8-9 hours to myself every day. Now you're like, get out of my room.
Exactly. Like, just go away from me anywhere is kind of my general feeling. So, and people just wanting shit all day long. Like, they want to eat
people
all the time.
Well, teenagers always want things. It's true.
Yes. And I'm like, you're 14 years old and 16 years old. Like, make a fucking sandwich. I don't think you need me right now.
But I don't have hands, Mom. My hands are gone.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's a helicopter.
Hold for helicopter.
Oh.
We live next to the airport, like literally next to the airport.
Well, the private airport, so it's actually been quite quiet most of the time. But
you can smell jet fumes from our place.
But that's where
how close it is.
The police helicopters and stuff take off from here. So anytime there's a lot of helicopters leave, we're like, what happened?
Yeah.
That's how I do about
you got the inside track.
Yeah.
That's how we know about an earthquake too, or the fires. Well, all of a sudden it's just helicopters.
Earthquake, I felt that before I saw the things, because it's an earthquake. But the fires, I woke up at like 3 a.m. one morning, and it was like, I thought I was like in Vietnam.
We're at war.
It was like so many, and so then I go on the Google, and it's like fire and blah blah blah, 4 miles away from me.
So let me ask you this: Did you have a chance to?
Back to you. I guess you're the guest.
It's hard to control her. You got to rein her in.
All right, tell her your question.
No, I wanted to know if like you were watching this and going like, we need to go get toilet paper now and food now, or were you one of those people that was like the last one punching people for toilet paper type thing?
Oh, no. So, I mean, yes, I was probably more than most people around the country because it was here first. Mm-hmm. I think by the time we are on like day 3 or 4 of, this is happening, I was going out and shopping, not being an asshole shopper, but I was, buying the stuff.
And people realize when you have like two teenager kids, a pallet of toilet paper is not hoarding. It's not hoarding.
No. I'm starting to get concerned because we have like the Costco like restaurants buy it pack, and we're like halfway gone, and I'm starting to worry like, should I have been an asshole who bought? Yeah.
I'm gonna start slapping those kids' hands. You got to cut back on the slap. They got to earn their pieces.
Yeah. 3 squares for a number 1, 6 for a number 2. No, but we definitely are tried to be prepared, but you can't keep food in a house with teenagers. So we literally, this is going to sound psycho, but we literally put a lock on the pantry. Like, that's extreme.
I can
recognize
imagine
this.
Like, I feel like I should put a lock on the pantry for myself. Like,
well, yeah, somebody hide the key from me.
What we need to do is you need to sit down and watch. I recommend this with all parents with teenagers: is watch the Donner Party. Watch the movie Alive.
Make them watch it.
Yes, all of you sit down and watch it together. All the cannibal movies they have from survival.
Who's the first to go? Yeah. So, I mean, that's real life. I was so sick of waking up in the morning and finding like 2 a.m. binge eating wrappers everywhere. So I was like, screw it. You guys, you lose your pantry privilege like some kind of crazy person. But I was done.
Yeah.
That's where we're at sanity-wise around here.
Wow.
Well, it makes sense because the problem is you like stock up on enough food that you need. Like we actually even have like a little chart. Like I wrote like all the things
actually, it's an Excel sheet, and she enters it into every meal.
Because I want to make sure we have enough because we really don't want to leave the house.
I'm eating a pickle. She's like, "What the hell? Did you record that?"
It's not that bad. But we're already out of chocolate. This is horrible.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
No, and Amazon used to deliver to us, and so I was like trying to order some, all our fresh stuff, and our chocolate was gone. So I tried to do an order, and they won't deliver anymore. It's done.
Yeah.
They're like, dun, dun,
well,
dun.
And it's so delivery times, even for the like not the Amazon fresh stuff, but just the basics. It takes forever to get anything delivered now.
Yeah, I got some.
That drone delivery is not such a bad thing anymore.
Yeah, they talked about doing it.
Yeah.
They should have done it.
Yeah, they missed the boat.
They missed it.
Or have they?
So how do you feel about having to be under quarantine? Are you cool with that? Or are you like some people are like, just let us go back to work already and leave?
No, I'm pretty I'm more get the hell back to your home so we can get this over with to people. What?
When did you guys start quarantine there?
Well, yesterday it only officially began legally, like where if you are out for non-essentials, you can be fined. That just happened yesterday.
Oh, really?
It's been a while for you guys, right?
About a week, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been self-quarantining to that level for, like she said, 3 weeks. So for us, we've been into this we're deep. But
so
how long have you guys been doing it then?
So self-quarantine, I think we're on day like 11 right now.
11. Oh, that's so wild.
Is that when school got let out, basically?
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as school got let out, I locked shit down. My kids, my daughter has a boyfriend, so Romeo and Juliet were just devastated. So they kept meeting at the basketball court like a couple of rebels.
Just doing my walks, Mom. The dog needs to go. And poor little Speeder just wore out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to be good. We're trying to be conscientious. I have some autoimmune stuff, so I'm a little more, vigilant about it. But we're just trying to be good people and take care of each other. So
did you see the president's speech yesterday about like get that economy restarted and the old people can take one for the team?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Starting with him. If he makes that.
Yeah, I'm like, do you realize you're an old person? Like, let's just put you out there, buddy. I have never had more anxiety about this than I did last night after watching him.
Me too, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I try not to.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I try not to get into the politics of things, like, because I get so angry, but yeah, it was pretty hearing him, like knowing that our senators and our congress people can't even like put crap aside to take care of the American people, and it's all makes me really anxious and nervous about everybody that's so much, our president especially is so much more concerned about the economy than saving people's lives. Like,
well, it's not even the real economy he cares about. He cares about the Wall Street stock market,
right? Which
technically isn't always indicative of our actual living economy.
Yeah,
but that's a number that everyone can see, and he believes that that's what he can convince people. Yeah. Even though everyone's like, the stock market's been great and 401k is killing it. And it's like, I don't own stock. I don't have 401k. I can't get a job. So the economy's been shit for me for 2 years.
Actually, I mean, there is somebody, Chris Murphy, I think, said, I don't know where my phone is. I'm just going to use that. But he said, basically, I don't even know who he is, but he's on Twitter and he has a check mark. So he's somebody.
He's important.
He's important. Real. But he was basically saying there's like two options. One is you try to mitigate it, and there's some financial issues for sure, and we may even go into recession, but then that's why you have stimulus plans, and you put stimulus plans in place, and there will be some ramifications. Or the other option is the hospitals are overrun, millions of people die, and there's no way to fix anything with the stimulus at that point. It's like, how great is the economy going to die when all of our grandparents are dead? Everyone over the age of 30 has been fighting for their lives for a couple weeks. Do you know 80% of people in the hospital on ventilators in California are under the age of 65?
Wow. That's
It's
crazy.
like that whole lie that it's only elderly people is
Yeah.
a lie, and not that they're only. Anyway, sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't want to politicize this.
Well, I
Fuck.
mean,
Now, both of you
it's
have
almost
tried.
irresponsible to not talk about that. I mean, whatever your platform is, it's almost irresponsible to just sugarcoat it and put it aside and pretend like everything's fine or it's nobody's responsibility.
And it's like, we're doing this, your family, us. We're doing this to try to keep it from spreading to people as well, not just for ourselves, but to because you could have it. Who knows? I could have had it and don't know it.
Right.
1 in 3 don't have symptoms. But if not, the whole country doesn't do this. It's all for naught. If we come out of our little homes in 5 weeks and then no one in the Midwest or in the center did anything, then it doesn't even make a difference. If they would just lock us all down for 5 weeks and give us money while we're locked down to cover our bills or stop them, then it might actually stop.
Yeah.
You know, since we're in the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah.
It's funny though, like you said, it's all the people who are going to die are all people that watch Fox News and that vote for.
Killing his base, man.
Is he trying to kill all the boomers?
Maybe.
He's like, I don't want to have to be president again. If I kill all of them, then I won't win, and I can give this up and go to my little golf courses, and no one will be mean to me on Twitter.
There's just no common sense to it. I mean, I'm literally like, I'm not even a college educated person, and how do I have more common sense than you people who are supposed to be in charge of handling all of this?
I am with you 100%. It literally is just common sense. There's a guy from the FBI that was on TV or something. I saw a video of him on the internet, and he was saying that this is reminiscent of the death cults that he's seen. Like, they're literally telling, like, there's that one lieutenant governor that was like, our grandparents are going to make this ultimate sacrifice for our community. And there's been actual people who are older saying, like, I don't want my grandchildren to have a bad economy, so I'm willing to sacrifice myself. It's like they're literally okay with dying or killing each other.
Hey, you guys, you know what? It worked for the Mayans, and it's going to work great for us.
Oh, the human sacrifice?
Yeah.
We'll cut their heads. You got to cut their heads off right and pull the heart out while it's still beating, or it doesn't count. That's just foolish. So whoever wants to sign up for that.
What about Netflix? Have you been watching binging anything good since you've been stuck?
No. And going back to like all of the things that I enjoy doing, I can't do because these people are always around me. Like all the stuff.
Wearing clothes at home.
Yeah.
So you don't have the time to watch the things that you could watch before because they're all there.
Yeah. Well, I don't even remember what I was watching on Netflix recently. I was like, okay, I'm turning off my phone. I'm turning off the Twitter, all of the shit. I need to forget this is going on for one night. And I'm watching some Netflix show, and 2-3 episodes in, I'm like getting angrier and angrier. And I pause. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? And I realize I'm pissed off that these people are going out and socializing. Like in my mind, I'm like, you should be at home. So I can't turn off like what's going on in the world enough to enjoy Netflix or enjoy, the stuff that I usually veg out to. I just need help. Someone needs to intervene.
We kept watching all these survival-y type things and end of the world shows. Yeah. And too much. So we watched the show. It's called, I think probably everybody in the world has seen it but us because it's like an NBC show, but it's Zoe's Infinite Extraordinary Playlist. It's just like a comedy,
fun little musical love story.
Musical TV show. And it was actually kind of moving and beautiful. And it was literally the only time that I've not been worried for like a little bit just watching that.
Yeah.
All the other things I watch, and again, on the back of either I'm getting angry like you, or in the back of my mind, it's still tracking like all of the concerns and worries and.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunate that you don't have any of that as an outlet. What have you done?
You should ask her the questions that you have, right?
I will. I'll get to them.
Oh yeah. We are spending, one of the things that I'm really grateful for, as much as I joke that my kids are driving me nuts, which they are, but we have had a chance to really slow down and have family time, like good quality, like too many board games and dominoes and card games, like that kind of stuff. That for me right now, there's part of that mama bear in me that's just like, bring my babies in close, everybody just be here, so that there's comfort in that until I'm ready for them to go away, and then it's not comfortable anymore. But that definitely is something that's, I mean, it's a refreshing change for me that we are all not running 25 different directions. Probably the first week that was very enjoyable and peace giving to me, and really made me reevaluate like our life outside of this. How much do we really need to be spending tens of thousands of dollars for our kids to play club sports and travel all around like, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's not to say that, you know, there isn't some balance there, but we were definitely on the other side of that. So having this more like, okay, we're all gonna regroup and be close, has definitely changed my perspective on some of that, and really made me feel better. We've spent, Nicole and I have spent a ton of time, you know, getting the podcast up and running, and just having someone that I'm talking to a couple of hours a day, and both just talking about whatever's going on has been like amazing. And I mean, I have my husband, but just another woman that gets all of the concerns and all of the things going on in my mind. It's been really nice to have someone. It makes me think of the people who don't, you know, who are isolated and don't have a good pal or someone to just commiserate over all the bullshit with, you know.
Yeah, or literally just by themselves in their apartment.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are in that position, and that to me would be the hardest thing.
Yeah, for sure.
If I was all by myself. It's easy for me to be like, everybody stay home, when I have like another person. I have a dog, I have a cat.
Yeah.
You know, I can take a walk outside because I'm in an area where it's usually nice outside, you know, like, it's easier for me to say than for someone like one of my friends, let's say in New York City, who's stuck by themselves in the most densely populated city in America.
It's definitely going to have an impact on people's mental issues, whether you have some underlying ones already, will exasperate those, and it'll create some for others. Like, I've never really had anxiety, but now the last week or so, I'm like, this is what anxiety feels like.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure if someone already has that, it's already starting to scare. And you get these people all alone, and people who are suicidal, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's scary. Yeah, I've had so many anxiety attacks in general in my life. I have anxiety, but lately, it is bad. It was, I would say there's 2 or 3 days in a row that it was just really horrible.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm trying things to make it go away, but.
Yeah. Well, it's all of people who, like us, who know that we have anxiety or we've dealt with it. My daughter is, she's 16, but like at 14 and a half through 16, she was hospitalized for a suicide attempt at almost 15. And, you know, we realized at the time that she obviously had some mental health things going on. And she has worked so hard the last couple of years, just working on those coping skills, working on, you know, learning how you do life with anxiety and depression. And fortunately, in going through that process with her, I'm learning some stuff too about myself, but also how to manage those things. And the first few days of this, I've been really proud of her of putting those tools to use that most people haven't gone through years of therapy to develop. But she goes, I feel like I felt in the hospital. Like, I just have no control. This is great, you know. And so bringing like you said, Doug, my heart goes out to people who already have, you know, definitely, you know, some really big struggles with mental health. Just I know that if we weren't a family who talks about that stuff and it's at the forefront of our mind, it scares me to think, where she would be without that. So the people alone dealing with it, or the people who aren't as vocal about how they feel, it's terrifying, and it's heart-wrenching to know that as a society, we're all going to struggle through this.
Here's my belief on it. And, people say, oh, someone has ADD, someone has ADHD, someone is bipolar, someone is depressed. And yes, all of those people show, certain amounts of that, but I think it's in everybody. It's underlying in everybody, and the way that we're all built as humans. No one is exempt from having any of that stuff. Some people just show it more than others.
Well, and have a more medical imbalance of it.
For sure. There's
others.
Different extremes of it is what I'm saying.
For sure.
Everyone has it. Everyone's like, oh, I feel sorry for people who get depressed. Well, everyone gets depressed.
Heck yes. Yeah.
So my point of trying to be is like, don't be afraid. Like, I'm the only one that has this. No.
Yeah.
Everybody has this.
Yes. Yeah.
And some just worse than others. Some in moments worse than others.
Yeah. And you never know what's going to trigger it. If you have that underlying, who knows what's going to trigger you on a specific day or in a situation like this.
It's true. We're going to get the cat. The cat's been screaming to be let in.
I heard it. So cute.
Did you? He's like, let me in, you humans. He's like,
now what we have here, we got us a feline cat. Look at that cat.
Okay, people that are listening can't see the cat.
Yeah, they can. They can see it right there.
Not if they're just listening.
This is Bruce. Brooklyn Bruce. He's a rescue.
Oh, what a cutie. I'm not a cat person, but that's a cute cat.
There's a docu-series on Netflix called
Are you
Tiger
a dog
King.
person?
Yeah, I'm a dog person.
Oh no.
I made the mistake a few
This here is Ginger. This is our big fat dog. We're here at Fat Dog Rescue. Oh, you can see the big fat dog. She loves it.
What were you saying? You made the mistake of what?
Yeah, a few days into quarantine, I was like, we had a dog that we had to put down in the fall. She was like 12, so she was wonderful. But so anyway, we've been kind of waiting to get a new pup. And then a few days into quarantine, I was like, well, this is the perfect time to get a dog. We're all here to train it. And kind of half serious because I wasn't sure I was ready yet. So now we're getting a puppy. It's the cutest freaking puppy. So my heart is like a ball of mush about animals right now. It's like waiting. She's, she has to wait till she's old enough to leave mama. But I'm just a ridiculous puddle of emotions anyway. So the dogs are melting me.
My son just got a new puppy. Him and his wife and my grandson.
And he's like adorable little 2-year-old running around with this little puppy. It's so cute. There's a puppy right now outside of my window. The people at the RV in front of us have a puppy. And
it's distracted us on every podcast.
Every single episode. I know. It's just, it keeps running around when we're recording, and it's so cute.
Nope. Now it's getting yelled
she's
at.
Being told, the poor puppy's being told no. Don't ever tell that puppy no. She's too cute.
Don't you
That's right.
But anyway, so now this is a travel show. Are you gonna don't do that. Seriously, that's not funny.
Something's got to be funny on this show because it gets boring.
This is please stop. So it's been how long that we've been stuck together in 200 square feet?
I don't know, but we look exactly the same with glasses and a blue shirt. Oh my God, it's freaky, you guys.
It is true right now.
So I was thinking you're very coordinated.
Yeah, you do. So it's a travel show, and obviously no one can travel right now. So we're not talking too much about travel. But once this is all over, so they let's say
if you could travel, where would you go?
The coronas are done. They're like, no coronas. It's all cleaned up. We're all good to go. You can go wherever you want. Where would you go at this point? Is there a place?
Safeway. That's all I want.
I'm super boring because I'm like, just take me to a beach. I think I'd like Costa Rica or somewhere, which is ridiculous because we're going to have been alone for so long. But Just
sorry. I'm so sorry. My cat just attacked my dog. I really wish that there would have been a video on that because it was hilarious. This little cat just destroyed my dog.
Nice. That's the only thing I like about cats is their badassery.
He's a badass. And the dog she's not. So sorry for those of you that are listening. I'm sorry.
This podcast studio is getting this negative review for sure. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we used to be in like a proper podcast studio in Manhattan. And now we're in our RV.
Look at you now.
So a beach is where you're thinking?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's boring, but yeah, Costa Rica would be my choice. I really love Costa Rica.
It's hear that? Now my dog is drinking water. This is not helpful. Okay, stop drinking. So
I'm gonna deny the dog
I've been
water.
to Costa Rica before, and it's quite lovely. And there's a lot to do. There's volcanoes. Can you still hear? Can you hear just lapping up?
A little
water?
bit. At least I know it's not toilet water.
It's not. No, it's right at my feet. She's done now. She's
all right. We'll fix that in post.
Yeah, maybe we can edit that out.
Yeah, we'll edit that out.
You never edit anything out.
Never.
I don't
No. Why bother?
For that, be funny all the time, or just don't even do a podcast. That's the rule.
That's
wow.
You have to edit out all the little parts. That just makes you a terrible person.
Yeah, terrible.
So judgy. This guy is the most judgiest.
Well, except that one time I had to edit some stuff. So never mind.
So I have questions that I've been asking people, and I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Can I do this now?
Yeah, you can do that now while I look up the questions. Here they go.
Is it this one?
Yeah, it's that one.
It's 5 questions.
Oh.
All right. So
That was it.
I think I sent you 4 of the 5 questions. So I'm going to ask where, oh my goodness, where is it? I have it on my phone, but I forgot to bring my phone. So I had it on here. Bless my heart. I have 5 questions all about the coronas.
Where's your phone?
It's probably back there. I have 5 questions about the coronas. So these questions are to basically, let's talk about the upsides to this. So you talked a little bit about the upsides in the sense that you've got to spend quality time with your family doing that kind of stuff. So this is basically along those lines. And I'm really doing a bad job at
Stalling.
This has been a really professional podcast episode. You're welcome. You know, we can't. Okay, it's coming any second now. There's like 8 places on my computer where I could probably find it. Oh my goodness. And I probably picked the wrong spot. I found it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, here we go. So the first question, this is questions that I got off of Twitter from an individual named Daniel Amen, MD.
Does he have a check mark?
He does. It's a blue check mark.
It's official. Makes it real.
And his address is @DocDoc Amen. Just in case you really like these questions and want to follow him. So he posted as a weekend quarantine checkup. So it's a quarantine checkup basically. So the first thing we talked about being out of control and feeling out of control. So the first question is what things are in my control? So what things have been in your control or that you can see are in your control with the quarantine?
I think the biggest thing is just attitude. I mean, that's kind of a job interview answer, but to me, that is the one thing that I'm like, I'm the only one that can choose how I'm going to respond to this. You know, I can either view it as bullshit that I don't want to be dealing with, or I can view it as my, what I can do to be a help and to take care of my family, my community, my people, our world. I mean, I'm really, really important. So it's good that I'm doing this. Other things in my control are how many cookies I choose to eat during the day and how fat I'm going to get during this. Or, it's just the little things. I'm a control freak. And so to not be in control right now of much of anything, I have to just choose to control every little thing that I can.
That you can.
Like putting locks on my pantry or whatever. I don't have a good answer to that, but except for attitude. I mean, I think that's the big thing.
I think that's a great answer.
No, that's a good answer.
It's control that everyone has.
So what lessons am I learning from this was the next question.
So so what lessons are you learning from this experience?
I think it goes when I originally thought about this, when you sent me the questions, it was where I came up with the stuff about what are we putting our resources into in our normal everyday life that I got to reevaluate, and the time, the finance, the resource, all of that we've put into our kids running and sucking the life out of us in every way. No, but like the sports or the hobbies or the, all of that, there's a balance somewhere there that we were really off balance. In every free weekend, every free dollar was going to our kids. Our daughters, before this, was probably going to play college volleyball, and and now it's like we don't even know. At the end of this, she may not even like playing volleyball anymore. We have no idea. And so the lesson I'm learning is not to put so much stock in things that are kind of uncertain or not foundational, life stuff.
Yeah, I think sometimes I thought that I was in control of a lot more than I'm in control of.
Yes.
Like I've realized, oh wow, I literally have no control over so many things in my life.
Yeah.
No, I have control over you. But besides that,
that's never going to change.
That's never going to change. That's the same. But other than that.
Can I go to the bathroom anytime soon?
Later.
I have to wait.
Okay. So the next question is, how are you using this time wisely? If you have any time. The thing is, you and I both work from home, so not much has changed in that world. And you also have family to take care of and whatnot.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think I'm using the time differently in that to try to do things that matter with my time, to whether that's for self-care, when I do have some free time, I'm just trying to be more focused on how I can use it to stay sane. And if that's, making cookies or something, like whatever my therapeutic outlet is, I'm just trying, every minute of every day, I'm just trying to stay
Does
safe.
making cookies help, Teresa? Maybe making cookies.
We can't because you took out the stove because it was propane, so we have no stove, so I can't bake anything. Which is good because
really
honestly,
backfiring.
If I could bake things, I would be making so many chocolate chip cookies. I'd be drowning in fat.
Yes.
I want Oreos right now more than anything.
I have a podcast challenge for the rest of us, for the rest of the podcast, the three of us.
Okay.
Don't touch your face the rest of the podcast.
Oh, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. I quit.
Stop.
I haven't left. I've washed my hands. I've been in the same place. I'm hopeless. Actually,
you've been like this the whole time.
I know.
That's how bad you are.
I know. I actually had to go to the pharmacy to get like 3 months worth of medication so I wouldn't have to keep going to the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, I was like waiting in line or something, and I touched my face for a second, and then it freaked me out to the point that later that night I woke up in the middle of the night like, I'm gonna die. Like, it's a little bit much.
Quarantine.
So the
last time I went to the grocery store, they have the wipes for like wiping down your cart, and I just got 2 extra and like wrapped it around my
kept them around your hands the whole time, grabbing stuff off the shelf.
Mostly to not touch my face because I'm the worst at it.
Me too.
So it didn't
I don't have a problem with it
and
at
it's
all.
worse when I'm anxious because then I start like scratching it and touching it. So like the more anxious I get, the more I touch my face.
And as soon as they tell you no, you're like, what? Can't
exactly.
Tell me no. I don't know. Oh, wait.
Well, and think about it.
It's allergy season, so I'm like, meh.
I'm old. The hair keeps falling out of my head, and it's constantly falling on my. And it's like hair falling out. Oh yeah, constantly.
Really?
Yeah, I'm bald. Don't touch it. It's a wig.
Okay. The next question is, what better version of myself do I see emerging from this time of quarantine? Like a little butterfly, the Keli that's coming out.
I don't know that a better self of me is going to emerge. Right now, an angrier, more frustrated self of me is cooking up.
I've become an Italian mom from TV. Then the kids will know it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hope just to be a more community-centered person as a whole. I mean, yeah, all of my answers sound like fortune cookie answers, but I really am just trying to, okay, so half of my family are Trump supporters, and there's a
we're
lot of
trying to
things.
we're trying to keep this going.
I know.
So we can't say that's a 5-letter word.
All of our family is. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I mean, most of my family are Trump supporters, but I love them. And when I see things that are, Trump supporters are racist and blah, 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 whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but I know my family and I know their beliefs come from a place of, they're passionate about what they're passionate about, just like I am what I am. Completely opposite views. So all of that to say, the last few years have been a lot of me finding a place of understanding and trying to just be gracious about things that I so adamantly disagree with, and trying not to lump people's opinions and how much I hate their opinions into not hating them. And, just, I love my people. And so I can't throw them out with their beliefs. And, so in this time, that's on a whole different level for me. Not only my people, but because most of the people who I'm frustrated with about how they're reacting to the Rona and all of that generally are people who are also Trump supporters or, follow the Trump of cult, or the cult of Trump.
And we know, we've been in a cult.
That's been the hardest part for us through this whole thing, though, is trying to convince our family members of just basic safety of please, you're old, you're 80, don't go to the airport and visit people that aren't quarantined.
Right. My sister-in-law is a doctor, and some family had a trip planned to go visit some family of ours in the military in Japan, and my sister-in-law had to yell and throw a fit of you cannot go, you have to cancel this. Thank God she did, but anyway, my answer is I'm going to continue to be a very tolerant, loving, kind person, as much as it is so hard to do that.
Fuck Trump anyway.
Well, it's when I see family and friends that don't take it seriously and put themselves in situations that could be harmful for themselves, especially when they're older.
Yeah.
And if they get sick, and if God forbid they died, I would blame Trump, because the whole reason they don't take it seriously is because of him. So it's hard, because I've been in a cult and you've been in a cult, and how when you're basically brainwashed subtly over time, incrementally, you think what you believe is true, and you trust people, and you have this trust that you're putting in someone. And it's so hard for you to break that, because it's like saying you were wrong, or saying your mindset was wrong, which, I've had to do that a few times in my life, and it's not easy. So it's I have sympathy for that. So the person I blame is not so much the cult members, it's the cult leader.
Yeah.
And so
I would definitely agree. I think the hardest thing you can ever do in life is change your mind.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Totally. Because that's the thing that's always in your head, and you have you don't really even realize how much control you have over it, and then you have to try and change that.
Right. And especially when your whole identity is wrapped up in your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess that's probably the case all the time, but people who are staunch Christian people, who are Trump followers or conservative politics beliefs followers, everything about, if they have to admit that they were wrong about something, like if suddenly they're like, yeah, Trump doesn't know what the shit he's talking about right now, and he's getting us all in trouble. If they have to admit that, then they have to then face that they might have to go change everything about their belief system.
Well, it's not as simple as just saying, oh, he's wrong. It means you have to basically change your belief system, your inner belief system, your structure in your mind.
And I think that for me, I remember when we were in a cult, and we haven't talked about the cult too much on this show, so people don't necessarily know too much about it, but it was basically a very fundamentalist, sort of right-wing-ish, very Christian cult. But you know, taking things to the very cult level. But I remember when everything was coming out about the leaders and everything was kind of coming out, people were seeing what it was, and that, hey, this is bad, this is wrong, this is basically a cult. I remember having that moment where I'm like, okay, if this is not true, this thing I believe, then what else is not true and what is true? Right. And it's like, then you question everything, every philosophy, every belief. And that was crazy. That was like a scary time in my life. I think it lasted a couple of years, actually, of like really reevaluating everything I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably 18 years since things really, really started falling apart in that cult. And I'm still, like, there are times where I'm still evaluating, like, even during like times like this where my faith base, and you know, I'm like, wait a minute, like all of a sudden I haven't put faith in much for a while, and now all of a sudden that gut reaction in me is like, I should pray about this, or I should, you know, whatever those old traditional things are that give me peace, I'm wanting to do. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, you hypocrite, like, do you believe this or don't you believe this? And I mean, not that we're trying to have a religious segment here, but
I think you get desperate in your mind. You're scratching and clawing at whatever you can find to help make sense. And you know, in the back of your mind, there's a little door that's like, you open it and there's like, hey, prayer's in here.
Well, and I think that when everyone went through that moment, they went through it a bit differently. Like, I think when I went through and I reevaluated all the things I believed in, there were some things that I still was like, okay, that wasn't true and that wasn't true, but I still believe this. And there are some things that I still believe religiously that I know you think I'm whatever for, but whatever. But I think that the gift that gave me was the ability to take a step back and say, I'm wrong about this. What else could I be wrong about? Because once you have to do it in such a big way in your life, I remember I was a very staunch Republican after that, you know, campaigned for George W. Bush, went to his inauguration, was like super like, you know, whatever. Yeah. And then I remember watching Katrina footage and there being this huge thing on the news about how he refused to really send help at that moment. And he wasn't sending this and he wasn't sending that. Yeah. And I remember being so angry and thinking, hey, the way he's reacting right now is extremely racist and he wouldn't do this if, and then all of a sudden it made me question everything politically that I believed. And I was like, okay, if I do believe in Christianity and I believe all those things are true, then I believe we should take care of people that are poor and we should do, all of a sudden it was just like my whole paradigm switched. But if I hadn't been in a cult and had to do that, I don't think it could have been as easy for me to do it a second time.
Once you've learned how to do it once, it becomes much easier to repeat it. It's that very first time of crawling out of the cave and going, oh my God, hey, there's light out here.
And having to critically think for yourself is not always easy if you've literally given someone else the ability to think for you. Right. As a gift. Here you go. You tell me what to do. It's so hard to take that back and start like thinking for yourself. Yeah. So I guess our encouragement to Trump people out there
is eventually
it's gonna be okay.
Is eventually you can learn to become better people too and not be so just mentally stuck in a hole.
I wasn't gonna quite say that.
I'm just summarizing. They're not real bright and they need the help. Look at my face when I'm talking to you.
This isn't helpful. This is not helpful. What you said is not at all helpful.
But it feels so good.
I do think that is one of the things that is most mind-boggling to me is the people that I know who are Trump supporters, but who came out of that cult world the first time and have just Like either there's something in you that is like, I will never be a part of a cult thinking again and fight it the rest of your life, or you just move on to the next cult. And so
Oh, wow.
I hate to tell you this stuff, but you're still in a cult.
What?
No, you are. It's all levels of cult. Because if you think America is the greatest country in the world and the best, and we have everything, and everyone in the world is behind us, that's a cult mentality. And I hate to tell you this, you travel the world, people don't think that, and that's not necessary.
Oh, did we lose Kelly?
And that's the end of time.
I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay.
So sorry.
That was your beautiful daughter.
Oh, did you see her?
Yeah, we saw her.
Your daughter popped up with her volleyball.
She's like,
she's just trying to call.
Yeah, she was trying to interrupt the criticism.
Doug's rant. We call it Doug rant time. Doug rant time. Let me push the button.
She would love your rant. She would agree. Maybe that's why she was like, "Preach it, Doug."
Amen, brother.
No, I think that there's that fear, like I can't say that anything he does is wrong because then I have to say that it's all wrong.
Yeah.
And I get it. But it's okay because sometimes maybe he wasn't wrong about everything, and you could just say that he's wrong about this and then reevaluate all the other things, and maybe he's still right about it. He's not, but maybe he is. It's possible.
There's got to be something in there.
And if it wasn't, anyway, we could go on him for a long time, but I think that I feel like sometime it would be fun to do an episode, Kelly, maybe where we just talk about all cult experiences, because I think people have always asked me about it. It might be interesting to do. Talk to another person in it.
Yeah, you could have a whole spin-off of your pod on your cult life.
Actually, I have a whole thing I'm doing. It's called Cult Life, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it after because it's
She's
not
been
ready
working with Lin
public.
Miranda about it.
Lin-Manuel, no.
Lin-Manuel.
No.
It's going to be on Broadway.
Could you imagine, though?
Cult Life!
That would be amazing.
It would be pretty epic.
Some dancing. There's a bunch of garbage can lids and stuff.
It would be akin to, like, Cats.
Yeah, it'd be like Cats. It would be more like Cats.
There is one person in a full Cats outfit, for sure.
Yeah, it would be like a mixture of Cats and Rent, like just the dying of AIDS and the creepy cat house.
Cats going through garbage cans.
That's basically it right there.
Yeah. So my last question for the 5 questions is, if you could communicate to anyone out there that's listening, one thing that you want them to know about. Okay, I lost my train of thought there. Basically, you kind of already done it, but like if there's something that you've not necessarily learned, but it's very clear to you now after having gone through the experience that you have for the last 11 days, and you want to impart that information or knowledge.
Any advice for anyone else going through this?
Or is about to, who hasn't been locked up, who hasn't been in lockdown yet.
Doing a hard time.
You know, like Denver just joined it. A bunch of other states.
Are you suggesting that, like, if you have a large group of people, to try and order a tattoo rig?
Okay, that was weird.
So you can give everyone tattoos while you're locked up.
Oh my god!
First one with a tattoo rig is going to make a lot of prison money. You can get all the cigarettes.
True.
That's true.
And the ramen.
Okay, so instead of locked up, locked away, locked
shut
down.
in.
So any advice that you would have for other people who are not going through it yet or about to, or maybe just starting to?
Yeah, I would say be prepared for an emotional roller coaster. I mean, which probably doesn't need a whole lot of explanation, but it's real. Like going through I read something the other day that everybody is going through on some level the stages of grief. And some people are going to be stuck in denial for a real long time. And some people are going to the angry place, I don't even know all the stages of grief, but basically we're all mourning the loss of something. Our sense of normalcy, our sense of security, our cult thinking, whatever it is, we're all mourning something right now. Or just our normal life that we know. And there's some serious stages of emotional fuckery in that, and we have to if I would have known going in, like, be prepared for this, I don't think it would have taken me so off guard, and I wouldn't have thought I'm losing it as much. So
no, I think it's great advice. It's interesting. I think today I'm in the anger phase. Like I literally had Doug show me how to punch, and he had his palms out, and I was like punching just to get out some of that. Like I could feel it. It was just like I woke up in a state of rage. I apologize to any coworkers. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's like it woke up with that. That's the phase I'm in.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So before we leave, I want to hear again the name of your blog and where people can find you, or not your blog, because I don't think you're even doing that anymore, but your podcast, which your blog was amazing, by the way. I read it all and it was very moving and beautiful. So I'm excited about your podcast. So
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about where they can find it.
Yeah. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places you listen to podcasts. I think it's up and running everywhere now. And that's Everything's Not Fine. Instagram, where Everything's Not Fine Pod. And that's our main place that on the socials that we are. And then I'm on Facebook, Instagram as Improperly Forward, which the podcast is an Improperly Forward, which was my blog production. I still have some stuff that goes on through there. So but you can find us any of those places.
Yeah, I love your stories on your Instagram, Improperly Forward. You have some great Instagram stories and stuff like that. So, people follow along there as well. Thank you so much, Keli, for doing this with us and joining us for our quarantine episode. And we have this. Do we have to say something before you play the outro thing?
No, it was getting ready. Is that okay?
No, that's fine.
This is very professional. Again, we'll fix this in post.
Not on the video, though. It's going straight onto YouTube just as it is.
We won't fix anything. We just say that. But anyway.
Never cares. Yeah. All right. So thank you again for that. Those that are watching, that are listening, you can also find more about us at theheandshe.com. Our Instagram is at The He and She Show. No, at He and She Show. I should know that.
We've had it for years.
Yes. I don't go to it though. I don't know.
Day drinking.
Anyway, we'll be doing these every few days, every other day. I don't want to put any expectations on myself, but we'll be doing these quarantine episodes quite frequently in the next couple weeks.
There's a high demand because people have nothing else to do.
And thanks again, Keli, for joining us.
Thank you, Keli.
Can't wait to listen to more episodes of your podcast.
Yeah. Stay safe, you guys.
Around the world with the He and She Show. With your hosts, Doug and Teresa Wyckoff. If you like our show and want to know more, check out our website, theheandshe.com. Support us by subscribing on iTunes and giving us a positive review. Safe travels till we visit again next week.